handle the truth.
We're on Off-Topic Truths.
My name is 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐞.
And I'm 𝐤𝐤𝐤𝐤, and you're tuned into
Off-Topic Truths. All truth, no facts.
All Truth, No Facts. So we have a studio audience, and we also have the owner of the podcast, Billingston Jean.
What's good, y'all?
So we're going to ask a couple of questions just about your vision for the podcast, and then allow some of the audience members to kind of chime in as well.
Okay.
So can we start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself? Who are you? Where you from? How you got here? Where you live? Your social security number? You got kids? All that stuff.
All right. So my name is Billingston Jean. I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I just graduated at the University of Florida like a couple years ago. I don't know, like I'm black. I love Jesus. I don't know.
That's good. You love Jesus. Very, very good.
Yeah.
So you are creating this podcast right now. So what is the vision behind this podcast that you are creating? What is Off-Topic Truth? Or just unpack what this Off-Topic Truth means.
Well, so funny thing is, I never even knew what a podcast was. I never listened to a podcast. In fact, the first podcast I ever listened to was after I presented the idea with Joanne, and she says, "Listen to this," and I'm like, "What is this?" She's like, "It's a podcast," and I started listening to it. And I think to this day, I probably listened to maybe like 8 different podcasts. Mm-hmm. Like literally, that's the total of the number of podcasts I've listened to. So I'm no expert at podcasts, but anyway, so the podcast is titled Off-Topic Truth, and the hashtag I promote is All Truth, No Facts. So with Off-Topic Truth, the whole vision and idea was topics that I want to explore and talk about that I feel that America deems as irrelevant. Like it's totally off topic, like racial injustice, the ideology of white Jesus, just different topic that's controversial like that I feel like that was be considered off topic. So, and the hashtag All Truth No Facts, I really, really love that hashtag because what I believe is truth is singular, it's not plural. So I believe you can have all facts, you can have reality and perspective and not have truth. So I hear this thing a lot that people say, my truth, your truth, is no such thing as it's the truth. So the truth does not reason, it is not straight right, it is not straight left, it isn't favor, it's just truth. In fact, I believe that truth doesn't need anything to prove itself. It's truth that will prove its own self. So that's why I promote, like, not all facts lead to truth. So that's why I push that hashtag so much.
Where do you get your source of truth from?
Where do I get my source of truth? I filter everything through truth, which is the Word of God, which is found in the Holy Bible. So all my reasoning and everything that I try to like contradict or challenge or filter through will come with the Word of God.
Good stuff.
So do you have any inspiration, people who inspire you to do this podcast or?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, my community, the black community inspires me all the time. Different injustices inspire me. My mother is a big inspiration. I love my mom to death.
To life.
To life. Oh yeah, I love my mom to life, not to death, because yeah. But like things like that. My community, like I said before, my mother, like my country, Haiti. Haiti is a big inspiration to me. What else? I have a lot of my little brothers, like the trauma that I went through, the trauma that they went through, seeing our upbringing, and yeah.
Good stuff. So, turning to the audience, yo, what up? How y'all doing? Y'all got questions?
Yeah, I got questions.
Okay. What's your name? Your name? Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, come on over.
Hello, my name is Taylin. So my question is, why did you choose the name of your podcast?
Yeah, so good question. I chose off-topic truth because, like I said earlier, like I believe that a lot of things that I'm going to be discussing is topics that I feel like America or majority of America would find irrelevant. It almost be like off-topic, like when you talk about certain things with racial oppression, when you talk about certain biblical matters, or even when you think about like things like human trafficking. Like those things are not like relevant topics. It only becomes relevant if something big happens, and then we get all riled up about it, and then within like a matter of weeks, it kind of dies down. So that's why I chose that idea of that topic. So we want to keep talking about things that are off topic. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? So, no name cast member. Just a quick question. So, how, I guess, do you envision this podcast being different from the other podcasts? Like, what aim or approach that you'll take to kind of like set this one apart from other ones?
Dang, you gonna ask me a hard question like this? Honestly, I don't know if I'm really trying to be much different or I'm trying to be similar. I think that I'm just trying to speak truth and so this is this thing that I like to say, big voices on a small platform. I believe that everybody's voice is big. I have a vision of empowering people. So like I said, I don't have much experience of hearing other podcasts, but I just want to give my people, give the community, give the ones that are silent a place to speak, to empower them. So I think if anyone is doing something a similar podcast like that, I mean, I respect that, and I would hope they'll continue. But from me personally, I don't think I'm in competition or trying to be different. I'm just trying to speak truth, and that's what I'm gonna do. All truth, no facts.
Speaking of competition, this is a commercial break. There's no competition when you want your car cleaned. You need your car detailed. Please see 𝐤𝐤𝐤's
Oh,
Auto
𝐤𝐤's
Detailing.
Auto Services.
And he actually has a question. Come on.
Quite there with the question. 𝐤𝐤's Auto Service. He comes to you.
Mr. Q's, 352-231-3699. That's our mobile number. We're mobile. We come to you.
Black owned.
Black-owned company.
And what's your question, Mr. Q?
Question is, how do you feel your truth compares to the truth of the masses? Whether it's African-American, Caucasian, Native American, whatever it is.
Well, you see, that's the thing, Mr. Q. It doesn't compare. I mean, it stands in a category of its own. Truth has no opposite. Just like God has no opposite, the opposite of God is not the devil. Opposite of God is God. The opposite of the devil is an angel. You get what I'm saying? So the opposite of honesty is a lie. So truth has no opposite. So it doesn't compare. It stands in the category of its own. So,
I like that. Sound good.
yeah, so I'm not really trying to compete.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Q. Oh, what topics are you planning on, dissecting in this podcast?
Man, I mean, we talking about boundaries, like when it's okay to cut somebody off. We talking about the consequence of saying Jesus is white. We're talking about how black men process in America, how black women process in America. We're talking about how hard it is to remain pure, like stay abstinent, or what's the benefits from remaining abstinence, like what's the constant battle, my constant battle with it, like just kind of trying to share transparency, like that's the only way we're going to really grow. We're talking about What's my type? Our types, like, I think the way Christian women think, the way women that probably don't identify with Christ think, like, what's the age differences, like, how do they think, how do men think? So we'll be talking about almost everything, but trying to filter it through truth, give healthy advice, stuff like that.
All right, so another question is, how do you hope people receive this podcast?
I hope that all should be safe. I'm joking. So when I pray, I say, Lord, teach me how to say it, when to say it, and the most effective way of saying it. So that's like, I always want to just communicate well. I mean, I would hope that everyone receives it in a place of either healing, conviction, or a place of growth. I would want everyone to receive it well, but I know the reality is that a lot may not receive it well. So I just hope people just receive it in one of those three ways, whether it's healing to them, whether it's educational or like a learning process for them, which is growth, in my opinion, or it's just conviction. Like after hearing it, it made them think, it made them reflect. And for those who like would hear this, my message or the messages that will be spoken on this podcast through other guest speakers, if they disagreed, I would hope that they would ask themselves why they disagree, kind of like play around with it a little bit, like challenge the truth, and before just completely just rejecting it, like, oh, this makes no sense. Like I would ask that, those who don't receive would be a little open to exploring why they don't receive it. So I love that question though. Okay. It's my eyes, bro.
Next question for me is, what do you yourself hope to get from the podcast? Like personally or spiritually, and like how you yourself.
So I was actually thinking about this today. I know that growth only comes from Christ, literally. Like we can plant and we can labor and nothing will grow if the blessings of God is not over it. So I think what I look for this podcast for myself is maturity, growth. Like I like to be challenged. So as long as I'm growing and I'm being held accountable, like if I'm teaching something, that I myself is actually modeling what I teach, being a follower of Christ. And so I think one of the biggest things for me is growth. I would say partnership and empowerment. I think those would be the three things: growth, partnership, and empowerment.
Okay, so that leads me kind of like to my second question: are you willing and open to having your own idea of truth challenged, or just your convictions challenged?
Okay, so even with that, like it may sound so close-minded when I say this. I mean, I'm open of having the idea of truth challenge, period. Not my truth, not their truth, not his truth, not her truth. Like, so if they want to challenge truth, go ahead and challenge it. But it's not like you're challenging my truth. I'm saying the truth, but whether you come at me, I mean, you didn't challenge me. It's not mine. It's truth. Truth belongs to God. So I mean, in a sense, I guess challenge God. If I said something that was just off, oh then yeah. I mean, if I didn't deliver truth well, okay. There's always room to grow in communication and things like that. But yeah.
We have another one of our audience members that has a question. So go ahead and introduce yourself and then ask your question.
Hi, Hi, my name is Lalua Robinson.
Or Miss Robinson.
And my question for you is, are you afraid to offend the masses?
That's such a good. Why do you ask me these hard? First of all, that's a big old rock on your finger. Your husband must be doing really well. Listen, I wish y'all could see this rock that she got.
I gotta be
Listen,
humble.
first of all, I wish they could see this. Oh my goodness. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
Oh my God. This is comic.
Your husband must got businesses. My goodness. Goodness. She got diamonds on top of her diamonds. Listen. That is crazy. That's competition right there. Listen, she got diamonds on top of her diamonds. That is crazy. I've never seen that. That's good. Wow. He got a side business. He got businesses, don't he?
I mean, you know.
He got it. Right. That black man that make money. It shot out his page, actually. I mean, that boy there. Well, you know.
Oh my gosh, you put me on the spot.
Man, that boy there, that's a fine black man, girl. I mean, I tell you. Yeah, he about 6 foot. He 210 pounds.
He advertising my husband like he not married.
All right. Okay, let me.
Break,
I'm just joking. What's his? What was the question again? Am I afraid?
Are you afraid to offend the masses?
No, I don't know. I don't mind. No, I'm not afraid at all. But I think I'm cautious. I'm cautiously uncautious, if that makes sense. Or no, that don't make sense. I mean, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to make sure that I deliver well. I take account to both sides. Like, I'm not very extreme.
Are you going to talk about the gospel?
Yeah, of course. I'm always filter it through the truth. I'm always tie the gospel in it. I mean, without the gospel, I don't think it's valid. But at the same time, I do know that it is foreign to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So in my world, the gospel makes sense. In a lot of other people's world, the gospel doesn't make sense. So I'm not afraid to offend you. I mean, if you don't agree with what I say, that's free will. You don't have to. Mm-hmm. But I think my main objective is to deliver it in a place where it's digestible, it's said in love, it's not said to offend you, but the truth will offend you, though. So I'm not afraid to offend the masses. No.
Okay, so my next question is, if you're not afraid to offend the masses, are you prepared for the backlash that comes with the truth?
Well, I'm actually learning how to prepare now. So when I recorded that interview, to share my experience, commissioning both whites and blacks, I got backlash immediately, and I would say I was prepared because I had a particular vision. I prayed and I fasted about it. I believe that Christ endorsed it. So I felt like I was, in a supernatural way, I was covered. So, but as I started, how would I say it? As I started, like, not losing my prayer life, as I started praying less, I started feeling more of the pressure. So, yes, I'm prepared in the sense because I know what I need to do to stay covered. But when I don't do those things, I'm not prepared.
The next thing I have to say is not a question. I just want to share some encouraging words with you. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay, so when I think about truth and I hear truth and I think about your podcast, it reminds me of Paul. And I just want you to remember that he was not a guy that people loved or liked. Mm-hmm. He was not the person that you would want to be like when you grow up. He was murdering Christians. But then he had an experience with Jesus, with our Father, on a road to Damascus, and that changed his life forever. But on that road, when he started to deliver the truth, he didn't have any friends. And I just want you to know that what you're doing is so powerful, and that when those oppositions do come, don't stop. Keep going. Because the road that you're going on, you can't take everybody with you. And you think about Jesus when he went on the mountain and he only took a couple of his disciples because everybody couldn't see him in his glory. And when you get there, you got to be okay with letting people go because the gospel offends and you will offend people. That is why we don't get truth in school or on the news or anywhere else, because people don't want to hear the truth. People are going to dislike you, but it's okay because the word says that many are the afflictions of the righteous. And James said, rejoice when you have trials and tribulations, because let those test your faith, and with the testing of your faith brings perseverance. So the enemy is not going to be happy with what you're doing. He's going to come after you hard, going to come after your friends, your family, and your identity, but stay grounded in the word of God.
And first of all, listen, I'm gonna say a couple things, because look, first of all, that was unscripted. So I didn't pay her to say that. Secondly, you know, that's why that big old rock on her finger.
Oh my God!
Listen, my goodness. Oh man.
Awesome. Thank you guys for participating, those of you that did. So the last question that I have is, you've kind of talked a little bit about what your listeners can look to expect in terms of content, but when should they look to expect more content? Like, do you have a certain day of the week that you launch your episodes? Where can they find you?
Okay, so you can find me on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all major platforms. The official launch date is, where's my calendar? Let me pull out Memorial Monday, Memorial Day.
Memorial Day?
Yeah.
Are we in May?
Oh, no, we're in September.
Okay.
What? Is that
Labor Day.
Labor Day. Labor, yeah. I say one of them days, it's a holiday that's coming up. What is that, September 5th, 4th?
September
7th. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my mind is all types of gone. But look, yeah, Memorial, right?
Labor
Day. Labor Day, this Labor Day 2020, this intro will be dropping, and then like you should be expecting a cast to drop every 10 days, every 2 weeks. How about that? Every 2 weeks. So, you know, follow us on Off Topic Truth on Instagram, also on TikTok. Yeah, my little brother created me a TikTok. He said, "Billy, you gotta go live on TikTok." I don't know what I'm doing on that thing, but I'm on TikTok now. So hey, and I'm on YouTube. I never thought I'd be on YouTube. That's crazy.
Okay.
I actually got an interview I launched on YouTube.
Oh,
yeah.
What is it about?
It's about sharing my. It's about commissioning the white community and the black community, and doing that, I share my experience with injustice, and I highlight that, like, a lot of times African Americans or blacks in general don't really have a true understanding of justice because they never experienced justice. So you introduce like a vague concept to an African American boy, a black boy, or somebody that just never experienced it, and expect them to abide a certain way. And so in doing that, I share my experience on when I didn't know what injustice was, my encounter with injustice, and how I had to heal from it, like the road to redemption that I took. It's literally called The Road to Redemption After Injustice. It's on YouTube, but you can find it on my YouTube channel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Are we expecting an audio version of this probably?
Yeah, I'm gonna also drop the audio version on Spotify.
Cool.
It's on Pandora. It's on Apple Music. I'm on all major platforms. You feel me? Big.
You were tuned in to Off Topic Truth.
Hashtag.
All truth, no facts.
We lit. That was good.
And the truth shall